Black Christmas, the 2019 version, is directed by Sophia Takal and stars Imogen Poots, Carrie Elways, and among others. And this is now the second remake of the 1974 slasher film of the same name about Christmas. And
same name.
The same name. And
continuity.
The second remake after the first remake from 2006. And in this film, it deals with a group of sorority girls that are basically getting stalked by a killer, and we're pretty much going to leave it to there until we get into it. Well, we'll get into it later, but let's just say essentially that's the bare basics as far as like the similarities go.
And
this deals with them having to survive, and essentially it also contains basically about them fighting cults. So, but we'll get into that
because
later.
that's Black Christmas.
Now
a little backstory here. I love the 74 version, the back in the original, and I thought that one was a good classic with great mystery. You don't really get to see who the killer was, and you feel his presence there, but it as far as like just not knowing what was coming is what makes the fucking 74 film original, in my opinion. And I adore the original. However, I really want to get to 2006 version because this one is hated by many. I personally I've found it since 2006 when it came out very underrated.
Yes, I do.
Very, very underrated. It has the strongest Christmas theme, horror element, probably other than Krampus. Those two are the only one that come to mind that plays the Christmas theme very strongly. In fact, play it so strongly to the T that they actually, when they're killed in Christmas ways, like made out of cookies, Christmas cookies and shit. Very creative. The 2006 is very underrated. The cast is really good, I thought. The killers, Agnes and Billy, the yellow jaundice and the back history of the incest and all shit was fucking downright disturbing.
Yeah.
It was fucking incredibly gruesome.
Yeah.
Beyond gruesome. And the thing I liked about the 74 and 2006 is they both go hand in hand. If you want the ambiguous, that atmospheric where it feels so real and so scary, and you just don't know what's coming. You don't see it.
You get like a lot of POV with the killer and everything.
Yeah, you could watch the original. You can own the 2006 version as well, because if you want the more disturbing,
like
just
gory,
balls to the wall gore, insane amounts of Christmas theme, you can watch the 2006 version. You can own both of them. In fact, 2006 version is what you want to do in a remake. It is basically the essentials of taking everything basic, add new stuff to it.
Well, it distanced the mystery angle of the original, but it
did
gives
its own take.
It gives more of a backstory, kind of like what. Yeah. And I know this is divided because it did the same thing that Rob Zombie's Halloween did, where it gave the killer a backstory.
That's what I'm saying, but they still were able to add on to certain things, and that's what you got to do. And in a remake where you don't carbon copy like Psycho. And I grew up loving both those films.
Yeah, I enjoy both the original. I love the original to this day. And even to its merits, since I first saw the 2006 version, I actually found it pretty enjoyable. And to this day, I think it's definitely one of the better remakes that I've enjoyed of horror films.
Exactly.
And so when news came out that they were going to do another remake of Black Christmas, this is something that came out of nowhere because we didn't even know this was even existing until we saw a poster of it in the summertime. I was like, Black Christmas, so they're doing another one? And then, because it showed the little candy cane with the blood on it, and I'm like, okay, maybe they'll... I mean, it's unnecessary.
It's
unnecessary because they already did a remake, but I'm like, but it made me think like, okay, maybe if they go with like maybe a gory kind of thing like the 2006 version did.
But then that would be just...
It would just do the same thing.
But it's like, why have another remake? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
And then when I read that the director wanted to do this film because she was... this is where I'm trying to avoid political shit as best as possible, but it's still going to be political right here. The director wanted to make a woman empowerment movie. Here's the problem with this right here. There are many women empowerment movies. This woman obviously didn't watch the 74 and 2006 version because both films are all women cast and it's women empowerment.
Yeah.
But they don't oversaturate it. It's not there to make a political motivation. It just naturally came to us.
Yeah.
And that's why I respect about movies like that. I love women movies. Women empowerment movies.
Yeah.
You don't have to shove it down my throat, but as long as you don't do that and just focus on making a movie, I enjoy that. So, to the director, did you not watch the other fucking two movies? Because this has been done.
Exactly.
Because you're acting like, I want to remake Black Christmas where it's women empowerment. She said that. And people were like, she not know that
they already did that.
Movies
and they
like that?
didn't really focus on the whole empowerment as they were just basically survival movies where they had to survive from a fucking killer.
That's the thing. They come naturally as women empowerment.
Right, because they're trying to stand up to themselves.
Yes, they're standing up. They don't have to shove it down your throat. Hey, look, women are stronger than men. You know, they don't have to do that.
Yeah.
And when I heard that, and then I heard people walking out of this movie saying that expect a heavily politically motivated film, this really pissed me off. Mm-hmm. And we got kind of busy towards the end of the year. It's usually a hard time because I go visit, I go travel, and you do stuff with your family, stuff. We just didn't get to it.
Yeah.
And boy, was I glad I didn't even spend fucking a cent on this piece of shit. Upon seeing this film, this is one of the most insulting fucking horror films. Not only of this year, probably the decade, and easily probably up there, easily in top 5 maybe, worst films I've ever fucking saw. Not to mention one of the worst remakes of all time.
Absolutely, man. This movie fucking infuriated me to no end with its fucking... And not only is it a fucking remake of a movie that I love, and also another remake that I actually enjoyed, but it basically... You know, it was one of the worst horror films of the decade for me, and one of the worst slasher films I've seen in years.
Yes.
This literally was a fucking insult to not only it basically makes it to where if you didn't like the original, the 2006 version, that movie at least did a lot of things way fucking better than this movie did.
I can agree. I can see subjectively why people wouldn't like 2006 if you hold nostalgic for the first one. But even then, you should at least give that one credit compared to this, because I don't think I've seen a remake that strayed so far away. The only thing that shared was the fucking title of the fucking card.
And just the actual...
And the one death.
And there's... Yeah, and the fact that it's just a killer on Christmas. But that could be any fucking movie.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's on Christmas time. That's really the only similarities other than one scene where they use a fucking bag over a head. But that's really it.
Yeah, this was so straight far away.
But
let's just get into it. All right, here we go. Pros, nothing.
No.
Nothing. Zero.
Nothing
at all. There ain't not a fucking stitch I liked in this movie. Nothing. It is gone. Zilch. Zero. Boom. You fucking exploded. Now get into our cons. God damn, where do we fucking start? What the fuck was this? The killers. Really? Fucking wearing tiki torch masks that look like a mixture of Club Dread and the mask with Jim Carrey. Scream Ghostface's suit. A goddamn sorority boys fucking goddamn cult. And they're worshipping the statue who was against women. And he bleeds black. And he possesses them psychologically through their minds. And they wear these red caps and toga, making toga noses. Do.
You know what it reminded me of?
Someone explain to me, what does that got to do with Black Christmas? And before people say, well, we got to stray away somewhere because you can't carbon copy. I agree. This is so far away. Jurassic Park and Barney have more relations. Really?
Yeah, pretty much. But you know what the cult reminded me of? I don't think did you ever see Hot Fuzz where it had like the cold looking guys?
That's what they look like. Yes.
The fucking like cold mask they wear.
Yeah.
I was like,
I've seen Hot Fuzz. Yes. Yeah, it made me think of Hot Fuzz. Yes, and the political shit in this movie is so gurgled. It's overly shoved down our throats. And in fact, it is so bad that the director said, if you hate this movie, you're a sexist.
Well, guess what? They did the same thing for Ghostbusters 2016.
Didn't work.
When the movie actually does it on its own. The movie actually fucking does a double standard because in both movies, and I'm not making this up, both movies make it to where the men are basically fucking like evil or they're dipshits or they're fucking all things like that. The movie's trying to go for also a message, which I understand, you know, we live in a society, we live in a current millennium where, you know, they have to do certain social messages about stuff.
Why don't you do that in a political movie?
There are horror movies that can do that right. And like I said, we're not going to go in much into about it, but I'm just saying other horror movies, like, for example, like Get Out, you know, certain movies that take the social message, they at least do it to actually work in context.
You know why that works? Because it's original idea. They're not taking a name from a classic. Could you imagine if this movie would have went the exact same direction and it was called Nightmare on Elm Street?
No.
That's basically what they did.
Yeah.
They just slapped a fucking name. In fact, I think the movie was made, and then they were like, well, we can't, this is probably a straight-to-video film. Anybody know any iconic names we could throw on this?
Yeah.
How about Black Christmas? Okay, take that name and throw it on there. Because it literally has nothing to do with Black Christmas. Togas? Really?
Well,
sorority men?
What's inconsistent?
No, here's the thing on the message. It's about, this political shit is really bad. It is about it's saying that white men are rapists, and they say this. They blatantly go out there and say it throughout the movie. White men are too empowerment. They rape women all the time. Every one of them's a rapist. So they're the most evilest thing, and they actually talk about that. In fact, there's this rant where this one mixed kind of girl is bitching about why is it all white men on this thing.
About a poster or something.
Yeah, something that really is really irrelevant. You can see that this woman is the director is so politically infused in her fucking head that she could not stop by making sure this was the part of the plot.
Well, and not just that, but what's inconsistent is that the movie plays it to where one of the other characters, and not to jump the gun, but one of the other main girls actually becomes inconsistent later on in the film about that. It's like, okay, I understand you're trying to do a message here, but what the fuck is the point of having this character then?
Yeah, they have this character, he just comes out blank out of nowhere, and it becomes this political argument between men and women, and like who's empowered. No one's empowered anything. Jesus, just let it be and become a fucking focus on a goddamn horror film.
But even still, with all this stuff involved with the horror, it fails at that because after the first 10 minutes, which is a lame fucking death scene where the girl gets killed just by an icicle, which you don't even fucking see.
Yeah,
and
PG-13.
Almost like the first 45 minutes to an hour, nothing fucking happens. This movie is so stretched out, to the point.
Here's the plot: political talks about getting this teacher fired. This girl and this backstory where she was possibly raped, which is horrible. By the way, I'll agree on that. Her love interest with this one mixed guy looks like Steve Urkel. A bunch of women walking around talking about men are pieces or pigs. Text messages. This movie's full of people receiving text messages.
Instead of the phone calls like in the original movie, they do text messages this time.
I guess millennial shit.
Yeah.
But anyways, the acting in this film is beyond fucking atrocious. Even from Carrie Elwes, who we saw, famous Dr. Gordon from Saw and many other films.
Yeah.
Why the fuck did you take this project, dude? You're already bad enough when you did Saw 3D.
Yeah.
And that fucking obvious. You play always the obvious killer. I noticed that. In the first 10 minutes, we got all our killers. We already know. I go, there's the killer.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the killer. And at the end, it really is the killer.
And they even there's literally a whole scene. There's actually a scene where our main girl goes inside this area where this cult is. I'm like, there's our fucking killers right there.
And half of them didn't even have their little masks on, so you already know in the first 10 minutes. I never knew a movie that revealed their killers at the beginning. Then what's the even point of watching the rest of the fucking movie?
Yeah.
So,
but we'll get to this really fucked up part later.
It's an hour of them doing nothing.
Yeah.
And then whenever the climax where it starts happening in the sorority house where the killers start going to them and start picking off one by one, this movie goes beyond fucking nuts because first of all, we didn't even realize we were in the third act already.
Yeah.
Because we were so bored and just so uninterested of all the fucking political messages. It took us out of the movie, so when this started happening, we're like, we're in the third act already?
Well,
cool. Movie's almost fucking over.
Well, the movie, because it's also handled by its fucking PG-13 rating, which should not fucking happened, the death scenes don't even are just so
when
lame.
The girls start killing these guys?
Well, no.
Killing with a fucking key?
Well, before that, I'm talking about like when the killer's getting around like killing our victims and stuff.
Yeah.
It's so lame because, well, first of all, what's ruined is the fact that we know where it's going. We can clearly see when the killer show up. There was actually a scene where I knew where the fucking killer would show up, where the girl is outside her dorm and outside her dorm room, and then I'm looking in at the background, I'm like, see where the killer? He's gonna right there. Watch. 2, 2, 3. Right there. I see him.
They're so bad that they actually had bloopers in this where you actually saw the motherfucker walking to her. Yeah. It's like, oh my god, like you saw him accidentally where it wasn't meant to be, where you saw the end of his suit and you're like, oh my god, this director is horrible.
And apparently the killer kills people in the daytime too, because there's a whole scene where the girl is like lighting
Christmas
lights, and she ends up going to the other room, and then the killer shows up from behind, and then apparently leaves the fucking girl in broad daylight in a fucking rooftop. I'm like, anybody would find her there.
When a rooftop, it was that rooftop, that's right.
Yeah.
That balcony is what it was. So anyways, they get to the third act, and they start, this is when you start realizing, which by the way we already knew from the whole movie, and the trailers alone show you all the little toga, ghost face looking motherfuckers wearing tiki torches start arriving at this house, start trying to kill all the girls.
Yeah.
They kill one, they realize, oh my god, there's more than one of them. Well, anyways, we get one guy where this girl kills a guy with a key. A key.
Fucking key.
Another one died really poorly too.
It was the one where
these were like the most uncreative
where
deaths.
she took a bag and fucking put it over his head.
Oh yeah, and he died in 10 seconds from not being able to breathe.
I'm like,
dude, this is so lazy, the death scenes are. This is by far the worst non-creative fucking death scenes I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah.
Wow. And so anyways, these girls start realizing when they killed some of these guys, they rip off the mask, and they're bleeding black. And I'm about to get to that here in a second. They're bleeding black. So these other girls that were in that house, and this is where me and Justin kind of got lost. We don't know if there was something wrong with what we were watching or not, but there's a scene where it all begins. It looked like I think the girls were all together, and then somehow they're in a different house 10 miles away.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden these other girls show up out of nowhere.
But yeah, it's just, and they're all getting attacked. Like all these girls on this campus, I guess, getting attacked, and they're apparently the only girls on campus. But anyways, they run, they get out of there after escaping, killing a couple of them things. And then they go to, they know, because the girl in the beginning of the movie saw where their hideout is, where they're worshiping the statue that's bleeding black. And then this is where you get to the big reveal. Gary, we already know you were the killer. Like Saul, I knew you were going to be Gordon at the end of the movie. And you were going to take out Hoffman. What? He comes down the stairs. They're all surrounded. Oh, before I get to that.
So apparently the killer's also
before that, I gotta say this because this is insulting. So, after all this movie of the women bitching about how men are pieces of shit, your message is about, want to stand up towards sexism
and rapists
and
about
by standing up against sexism, like men saying sexist shit to women, but being sexist. That's almost like me saying I'm not racist, but also insulting minorities at the same time. It'd be hypocritical.
Yeah, it is.
It's like, it's irrelevant for what your message is. Because the whole movie is doing that. They want to stand up for something, but then they are also sexist themselves. That's what this director is. Well, anyways, they get to this act where this girl, the main actress, she was trying to get with this kind of Steve Urkel looking guy. He's like mixed guy, glasses, like a bookworm guy. She actually fucking sends him into a trap. Like she's a pussy or something. Like, show us how strong you are. Go in there and fucking confront them guys. No, she sends him in there and he gets fucking... They do some whistle noises and apparently he's possessed. So we come to find out in the reveal is the statue's a spirit of a all-man world where women are slaves.
What the
And they worship it.
I know.
And they all become possessed and have black blood. Where's Billy and Agnes when you need them to hack these motherfuckers off? Because Billy and Agnes are basically the Jason Voorhees of this franchise. That's like saying Jason's out in the movie. We're going to have Bill and Ted and Bob and Chris, and they're going to worship some statue and call it Friday the 13th. This has nothing to do. Yeah. Even the Christmas setting looked like shit.
It looked like it was shot on fucking Lifetime Network.
The visual, the cinematography, the low budgetness was showing big time in this film. Well, anyways, they reveal who they are. Then you get this head honcho killer. You never knew who the fuck it was. That's over Cary Elwes.
Yeah.
And he's got like supernatural powers because he crushed that one motherfucker.
Yeah.
Or that girl.
Yeah, he
snapped her head twist, so you think he's like really powerful, only to be taken out by a fucking arrow easily in 2 seconds. You don't even know who he was, but you're led to believe he's like maybe a monster under the thing. I don't know. He just came at the last second.
Yeah.
And here's where we get to pretty much probably a low budget version of Birds of Prey.
Or Suicide Squad.
We get all these women, even women that never was in this fucking movie. They all come out and they start doing some fucking action-packed music. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, this is so... I mean, the movie's already gone. It's been gone. This movie was gone in 5 minutes.
Yeah, but the fact
the movie just gets progressively so gone to... This film should never been made, period. It shouldn't exist.
It's a fucking insult because the fact that the movie's takes a supernatural ability which was never even hinted at in the other fucking movies, and they're doing black magic shit, I guess, because Black Christmas, we'll use black magic and have the black blood.
So and that's our black, and then Christmas. Ooh, you're so clever, director. And you know what I loved about the hatred for this movie, and I hate this movie with a fucking passion. And I'm glad that there are people who are part of the Me Too movement and stuff who's actually spoke out against this movie and saying that it was too saturated, it's too insulting, it makes what they believe in irrelevant because this woman she doesn't get their party, I guess. I don't know if the woman's part of the Me Too or she just thinks that this is what they represent. Apparently they spoke out, Me Too did, spoke out on this and said, this was insulting. Don't do this. You made us look like shit. And rightfully so. Director, and then it fucking abruptly ends. And this whole movie I'm doing this, please fucking end. And guess what? I got my wish. The movie ends. I guess that's a pro.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Because it ends them the fucking burning the house down and everything. And
I'm not gonna say if I do or don't. If you are a bootlegger type where you bootleg movies instead of seeing them in theaters, me and Justin are really good about going to theaters, so we don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say if I do or don't, or I have or haven't, but there are times, and there are people who are against it, and I agree. And disagree, this depends. When movies are this bad, I support bootleg. Because I don't think $1 should have went in the theater in this film. I would never. If somebody said, Eddie, I'll pay, it's 50 cents, you want to go in? And I would never. No. 50 cents is too much money. And that's coming from someone who makes really good money. No.
Yeah.
No. But anyways, this movie was so fucking bad. This is horrible. This was by far the worst movie. Easily this year. It was. And I never want to fucking see this again.
I don't either. I will go down and watch I'd rather fucking watch Happy Death Day 2, because at least that movie, while it was a slasher film, also kind of, straying away from the slasher, it at least did something kind of original. Well, it was kind of at least, kind of having fun, so there was at least that.
So
But-
I'll tell you this right now. I hope this movie ruins that director's career. Try to come out there with some fucking insulting shit like that. If you don't like my movie, you're sexist.
Yeah.
That's a fucking cop out for making a fucking shit movie. Maybe you already knew your movie was shit.
Yeah.
And you were just jumping up the gun to prepare because
Yeah.
you know it was going to get torn apart because you knew you strayed fuck away from it because you probably did this movie, didn't do your research, then watched the original two and said, fuck. I made a movie way too far from that. But yeah, so anyways, with that being said, this movie is a super, super low fucking flat line in a Film Phreeks meter. Fucking dead lights. Boom, flat line, I'm dead.
Yeah, this movie is a completely, total fucking flat line on the Film Phreeks meter as well, man. Fucking insult. Not one of the worst slasher films I ever seen. That has nothing to do with the other original concept of Black Christmas. Has shitty fucking acting. Everything that you can imagine is here.
And what a way to end 2019 for us because...
It's actually one of the worst of the decade, too.
Yeah, our next up, you're going to be seeing our top 10 best and worst list. So this was to close out our fucking 2019. What a way to end our year.
Yeah. For those of you who have also seen Black Christmas, and also the other Black Christmas versions, let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. If you like what you see here, you can feel free to like and subscribe to our channel, and check out some other reviews here, and our website at filmphreeks.com. We'll be seeing you in our next review. We'll see you later.
Later.